You're listening to User Media. Hello the young and the restless friends. Welcome to my channel. Before starting the video, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button and give this video a like up. When Billy informs Jack that he has lost his mother at the Abbott estate, his brother becomes alarmed and believes she has died. Billy claims that's not what he means when he says that. Despite her illness, she still stabbed him in the heart. Jack finds out that she gave Victor Chancellor after stealing it from him. Jack learns of Jill's heart problem and inquires as to whether it influenced her to take such a dramatic action. Partially, Billy says, but she wasn't pleased with some of his decisions. She sold him over to Victor even after he complied with her request and fired Phyllis and reinstated Lily. It doesn't surprise Jack that Victor exploited him. He has been occupied with causing issues for this household. Billy believes that someone ought to make. Jack warns that Billy can't let his feelings get ahead of his judgment. Billy says Victor will get his. That's not actually why he's there right now. He's thinking in more practical terms. He needs to save face after the media's hit pieces. Jack asks how he can help. Billy says with Kyle defecting to Glissade and Diane out, he needs a second in command. Jack realizes he's asking to come back to Javad. At the hospital, Alina worries about Daniel, who seems to be beating himself up over something. She asks him about saying he feels guilty. Daniel feels responsible for his mother's accident. She can recommend a therapist, but Daniel doesn't think he needs one of those quite yet. Talk turns to his history. He says this can all be traced back to when Cassie Newman died. He can't help but feel it's triggered a lot of the events that have happened lately. Elena thinks Sharon is responsible, but Daniel says it all started with him. If he hadn't drank that night and Cassie hadn't tried to drive, maybe Heather would be alive, and his mother wouldn't be lying there right now. Elena warns Daniel he can't blame himself. He can make a different choice, to heal. The way he does that is by forgiving himself. Lucy appears and says, "She's right, Dad." Daniel hugs his daughter. At Crimson Lights, Kyle senses that Summer is holding back. They discussed how they couldn't share things with each other during the custody dispute. Summer tells her ex she can't believe this is happening. It's crazy. Kyle thinks it's good that Daniel's been exonerated. Summer is glad he'll be able to grieve now. She doubts they'll ever be able to forgive Sharon. Kyle tells her he can relate to the feeling of life, giving you much more than you can handle. Summer can see that Kyle's upset. Kyle changes the subject back to her, Daniel, and Phyllis. Summer says she's trying to be strong like her mom right now. Kyle says Phyllis never shies away from a problem. Through sheer will and determination, she would make sure things go her way. Summer nods. Maybe she needs a perspective shift and focus on a positive mindset. She is going to be okay. Kyle thinks it will take more than a car accident to take Phyllis Summers out. Summer places her hand on his arm and thanks him as Chance comes in. Chance approaches and says he's surprised to see Summer there and not at the hospital. Summer says she was just getting coffee. She asks Kyle to give Harrison a kiss for her and they part ways. Chance asks if there's news about her mom. Summer says she's still unconscious, and the more she thinks about it, the more she realizes that this is his fault. Chance understands that Summer is unhappy with him. He detained her brother, but did not investigate Phyllis' assertions that Sharon was the murderer. Summer says, "You're right. I'm upset." Daniel's exhausted. Lucy tells Phyllis she's missed her so much. She wants to tell her about a boy she met on tour with Grandpa. Daniel frowns. How old is this boy? Lucy laughs that he's her age. She tells Phyllis about them holding hands. He's one of the sound guy's sons, and his name is Scotty. We're going to text. She thinks he and Phyllis would get along. He knows that a girl wants a guy who will actually listen to her. At the Abbott mansion, Billy tells Jack there's no learning curve, so he can start the job on day one. Jack will admit that his family situation has taken a toll. Billy can take the load off, and they work well together. It's win/win. Jack mutters, and Billy can understand why he's skeptical. He made quite a speech when he left the last time, but he's been through the ringer, both personally and professionally, and has learned that he can count on his brother, unlike other members of his family. Jill ripped the carpet out from under him and handed it to Victor. Jack wonders if Victor will put Victoria in at Chancellor to replace him. Billy says it's Nikki. Unlike my mother, Victor puts his family first. He needs to move forward with Jack at Jabat. He respects his leadership. Jack is touched by him saying that. Billy asks, "Is that a yes?" Jack hesitates. "It's just..." Billy frowns. Does he not think he's capable, or has he screwed up too many times? Jack assures him he's not thinking that way. Billy's asking for a lifeline. Jack tells him, "I'm sorry, Billy. I can't." Billy does not think it is unreasonable to ask Jack for a reason. Jack believes it will be evident in a few days. "Billy, I apologize." He asks his brother to believe him. Billy claims he is not showing any in return. Jack can't discuss this right now. Billy claims that half of his family has turned against him, but that isn't enough for him to realize he needs them. Whatever, Jack. Billy bursts out of the home. Jack grimaced. Daniel tells Lucy in the ICU how much he misses her. She missed him too. They joked about her becoming a rock star one day. Things turn emotional as they compare bracelets. They never took them off. Lucy thinks they'll have to make one for Phyllis. She asks her dad if the doctor said how long she'd be like this. Daniel says no one knows. Lucy's sorry she wasn't there for the funeral and him getting arrested. He was alone. Daniel had her in his heart. Lucy thinks he had someone else there for him too. He smiles. Heather. Sally catches up with Billy at the club bar and says he looks worse than the last time they talked. He quips that flattery will get her everywhere. Sally asks if this is about his mom. Billy says indirectly. He went and asked for Jack's support, but he seems to agree with his mother that he's not C-suite material. He might join the carnival. Billy muses that he has no one to depend on aside from his kids, and then she walked in. Their friendship is one of the only positive things in his life right now. He feels they have two choices. They can run away together and join the carnival, or they can sit there and he can buy her a drink. Sally suggests they do the second one first and then decide about the first one. Sally asks what happened with Billy's brother. He guesses Jack feels the same way the rest of his family does, and that's not going to change. He'll have to accept that. Jack meets Diane in the park and tells her Jill sold Chancellor out from under Billy and gave it to Victor. He came to him for a job, and he couldn't tell him about their ruse. I told Billy no, that's all I could tell him. He wishes he could give him a real reason. Diane says he could if he'd agree to give Kyle back the co-CEO position. Jack's not willing to do that until he can prove he's learned his lesson from this whole ordeal. At Crimson Lights, Chance follows Summer to the patio. He says this whole thing is a mess. He hates the whole thing and has barely slept since this began. Summer tells him he should have been open to other options. Chance was as long as there was evidence to back it up. Summer argues the evidence against Daniel was all planted. Chance says if he had to do it all over again, there is nothing he would do differently. Summer can't accept that. These past few weeks have been hell, and she wishes she could have leaned on him, but all she feels when she looks at him now is anger. Chance says he didn't make a mistake. He was doing his job. Summer tells him he arrested an innocent man, her brother, and now her mother is in the hospital as a result. She may not be able to move past that. I don't think we should see each other for a while. In the hospital, Daniel playfully tries to grab Lucy's phone to see her photo of the boy she met. Lucy says she's glad that she went. Thank you for watching this video. Please subscribe my OSR Media to our channel and stay with us.